Hey, good evening and happy Easter to everybody, especially those in the USA, especially the sports fans out there who are in Canada, all over the world, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, the misunderstood lonely nomad, YouTuber, host with the most, and of course, the unstoppable independent podcaster and rookie podcaster of Queens, New York. And you are now listening, tuning in, and watching and rocking with the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, episode 23. Yes, this is the 23rd episode, folks, and we are live and direct from StreamYard, YouTube, alongside with the Instagram handle, which is the podcast show page. Make sure you make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss anything on when I'm going to be on Instagram Live on a weekly basis every Sunday, 6 p.m. on Instagram Live and YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, you can do the same with the YouTube channel page. You um tap that subscribe button. Make sure you press the noti bell so you can be reminded of when the show is going to be on the air via live stream. And of course, leave a like and a comment alongside with the episodes and the topics that's being discussed. And of course, make sure you share the episodes, download your favorite episodes. Very, very important because it's the only particular way to grow the show. So it would mean a lot to me if you had a chance to download your favorite episodes, especially yeah, the ones you like, um, the rest. And make sure you tell a friend to another friend, and of course, um share the videos, share the episodes, and I will go over the rest of the audio streaming platforms on the go at the end of the show. So there you go, right there. Um, I hope everybody is having a good Easter weekend. I know I am mentally, physically, and spiritually, and couldn't ask for a better weather. You know what I'm saying? So the same way you can ask for a better weather in sports today, which is what we're going to be talking about. Now, we got a little bit of basketball news that we got to get into. So, all right, so let's get into the segment right here that I like to call the quick side bleacher bar. Now, I'm going to start the sound effect right here. All right, our first topic has to do with Julius Randle from the New York Knicks. Here we go. All right. All right, so rated as the most truthful remark Knicks president Leon Rose made about his vision during Sunday's interview with MSG Network. Um Rose supported Julius Randle and his rough season, but later added, with regard to opportunities that may come along, we're very flexible. The Knicks will be very flexible regarding Randle. His status ranks as the Knicks' biggest offseason question, along with Rose's ability to land a legitimate starting point guard in either a trade, draft, or free agency. Um, Obi Toppin's late emergence as a scorer, 3-point shooter, and energizer has opened the eyes of Coach Tom um, Thibodeau, who went as far as comparing him to his all-time favorite player, Taj Gibson, in regards to the intangibles and the bounce he brings to his teammates. Trading Randall, if they can get equal value, would open up the starting spot for Toppin next season and perhaps create team morale. Those things matter to Thibodeau. In response to Rose's remarks about Randall not being comfortable this season, Thibodeau responded, "Well, I don't know if comfortable, but I think the big thing is let's not mistake how talented he is. He didn't shoot the three as well as he did a year ago, but he's still 20, 10, and 5. That's talent. That's a lot of talent. However, Thibodeau liked how the Knicks passed the ball when Randall wasn't on the court in the final 5 games. Randall shut it down late with a sore quad. Man, a sore quad. That's yo, hold on, man. That's really, really, really gotta hurt. Yeah, that's gotta hurt though, man. You don't want to mess with your quad though, unfortunately. You hear this a lot in sports today, and yeah, there you go. But um hold on a minute. His enigmatic behavior was an issue much of the season. It began with a thumbs down gesture to the Garden crowd in early January, continued with a media boycott, escalated with an altercation in Los Angeles with a laptop held by an assistant coach, and culminated with Randall deciding not to join his teammates for the national anthem or pregame lineup introduction at road games. Hmm. Damn. Um. Garden fans chanting Toppin's name when Randall was on the court had to be a blow to a player who, in fairness, lifted the Knicks to their first playoff berth in 8 years a season ago. I think we had our ups and downs this year, and when you are that type of player, he's gonna get criticism. Thibodeau said, "I'm gonna get criticism. That goes with the turf here. So you deal with it, come back, use it as motivation. I know one thing: Julius will be in the gym all summer. If the Knicks can't trade Randall for a fair package, Thibodeau may have a explore excuse me. Thibodeau may have to explore a small ball package with Randall at center and Toppin at power forward. Thibodeau, um, though, hates it from a defensive standpoint. Um, there will be teams interested in the rugged Randall, rugged Randall, whose whose 4 year, $117 million contract extension begins next season at $23.7 million. That's not an exorb. That's not an exorbitant number at all. Randall is at the top of all opponent scouting reports and is sensational streamrolling to the hoop when in the right frame of mind. If the Knicks aren't getting draft picks and a legitimate starter back, it may not be worth it unless Randall formally demands a trade. The Mavericks would be an interesting scenario if the Knicks engage Dallas and sign and trade talks for free agent point guard Jalen Brunson. Um, so Randall is from Dallas and usually wreaks havoc when he plays in Big D. We had new players. It was hard to develop chemistry right off the bat, Thibodeau said. But Julius is at his best when he's running the floor, playing fast, or attacking the rim. When he did that, he had a number of big games. He'd be the first to tell you that when he does when he does that and we spray the ball and it moves fast, we're good. I'm hopeful that we've learned from the All-Star break on. Thibodeau had been skeptical about Toppin's defense and three-point shooting during the middle of the season. Toppin stopped looking at the basket when he got the ball out deep. He closed the season at 30.6% from three, but 46% in the last 5 games when he started after Randall sat. The Randall Toppin conundrum is going to vex Rose, Randall's former agent, all off season. As the as will the point guard position after the Kemba Walker Derrick Rose tandem turned into an unmitigated disaster. Rose was done in by an ankle surgery in December and Walker quit in February. Meanwhile, Brunson, whose father Rick was Leon Rose's first client as an agent, is expected to be their top point guard target. The draft isn't well with stocked with play making point guards. The Knicks are 37 and 45, are the lottery's 12th seed with a 7.2% chance of vaulting to the top 3 pick. All things be settled in the backcourt if Utah superstar combo guard Donovan Mitchell, the Westchester product, petitions for a trade. The Knicks would likely have to lose RJ Barrett in the exchange, but it could be a franchise changer. Thibodeau late Sunday night didn't want to get specific on needs. Unlike you, the media, I actually have to watch it and dig into it, Thibodeau said. I could say that I have ideas, which I do, some, but I want to make sure I want to dig into it deep and formulate the plan for next year. Whew, wow. Yeah, that's that right there. Wow. Wow. That's really something else though. Let's see. Um let me see. Okay. I know exactly what I'm gonna really okay. Um Now we go into some baseball news. Unfortunately, we got some bad news in the baseball scenario involving the Mets outfielders Brandon Nimmo and Mark Canha. So this is what's happening. Mets outfielder Brandon Nimmo and Mark Canha were placed on the injured list Friday after a New York coach tested positive for COVID-19. Neither player was with the team for its home opener at Citifield against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mets manager Buck Showalter, without identifying the coach, confirmed that a member of his staff tested positive for the coronavirus and was absent Friday. The team did not say whether Nimmo and Canha tested positive. Showalter would not say whether either player is vaccinated against COVID-19, but did acknowledge the rules for returning to the roster under baseball's new labor agreement are different for players who are vaccinated versus those who aren't. I tested negative, so what to said, but we don't need me. Um, versa- Versatile second baseman Jeff McNeil moved to left field in Candace place, and Travis Jankowski started for Nimble in center field, and of course Robbie Cano played second base. Canner missed out on his first home opener with the Mets after signing a 26.5 million 2-year contract as a free agent in November. He batted 3.3381, 8 for 21 with 4 walks on New York's 5-2 road trip to begin the season. Nimmo, who had homered in consecutive games, may have missed his final home opener with the Mets. He can become a free agent next offseason. The sharp-eyed leadoff hitter was 8 for 24, .333 with 6 runs and 4 walks on the road trip to Washington. Yeah, Washington and Philadelphia. It's part of life in the 2020s. Let alone baseball, Showalter said. We all kind of depend on each other to do the right thing. To replace them on the active roster, the Mets recalled outfielder Nick Plummer from Triple A Syracuse and select infielder Matt Reynolds from Syracuse. That's why you prepare for these things, Showalter said. Got a couple other people standing by in case we need it. Yeah, I think that was a good move, man. I think that was a good move. I mean, it was a good move. It's not a bad plan per se, but as the saying goes, desperate times calls for desperate measures when it comes to the team. So I'm not mad at this. So you know what I'm saying. Hopefully these two get better. Um, and we'll see what happens. Remains to be seen. Let's see. So, all right. So I want to get into this story right here. This has to do with a survey. Okay. So this was from Thursday. Okay. The Big Apple is a Yankee town, according to a new poll that shows a whopping 43% of New Yorkers favor the Bronx Bombers to just 21% of the population that roots for the Mets. Morris conducted the survey, which asked 891 adults between March 1st and March 8th about their professional baseball preferences. And the Yankees secured a solid um, plurality of New Yorkers who pledged their allegiance to the MLB franchise. While 43% of respondents identified as Yankee fans and 21% chose the Mets, 27% said they weren't fans of either ball club, and 8% did not follow baseball, according to the poll. Um, Broken down by borough, residents of the Bronx are Yankee fans by a solid majority at 65%, while 32% of Queens residents support the Mets. Surprisingly, the Yankees still beat out the Mets in Queens County, with 35% of residents stating preference for the Yankees. Morris also broke their poll down by age, which showed that younger residents are more likely to be fans of the Bronx Bombers, as 46% of residents younger than 45 chose Steinbrenner's team, while just 40% of those above 45 did the same. The poll comes as new Mets owner Steve Cohen has opened his billion-dollar checkbook to to finally compete with their crosstown rivals who have historically outspent the Mets on acquiring big name players. Now that's what I call a New York splash. Cohen has already shown a willingness to spend big for on-field success, as shown when they signed starting pitcher Max Scherzer, 3-year, $130 million contract, and traded for former Oakland Athletic star pitcher Chris Bassett. Yep, that's very interesting right there. And speaking of the whole baseball aspect, um yeah. Now, before I even go to the next story, I wasn't really aware. I wasn't here on Friday because I was at work, and this was pertaining to the statue of Tom Seaver. Oh, excuse me, Tom Seaver. So, um, this was outside City Field on Friday. So Tom Seaver's widow Nancy took the podium just outside City Field's main entrance next to the framed home run apple and started at the covered statue of her late husband. And for a moment the wind calmed, the thousands of fans crammed to take a look drifted away, and it was just a still grieving wife taken in the moment. "Hello, Tom," Nancy said through tears. "It's so nice to see you here where you belong." The Mets unveiled their statue of their legendary pitcher who passed away in August of 2020 at the age of 75 on Friday morning, just a few hours before the team's home opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks, a long overdue honor of the fireballing right-hander nicknamed the franchise for putting the organization on the map. He was the first superstar in Baseball Hall of Famer to represent the club, spending a large portion of his 311 win, 2.86 ERA, 3,640 strikeouts, and three-time Cy Young Award winning career in Queens. Um, when I was a kid and I thought of the Mets, I thought of Tom Seaver. Owner Steve Cohen said, "I could see the windup, his knee dragging in the dirt, the ball exploding out of his hand. Tom led us to our first championship, transformed the Mets, transfixed New York, and we won the hearts of Mets fans." Tom Seaver was a great player and an even greater man. The statue, designed by William um, Bay Bayrans, is made from granite, bronze, and stainless steel, and is 2 times life size to scale, measuring 10 feet high and 13.5 feet in length. Wow. Yeah. Give it up for City Field for putting up the statue of Tom Seaver, and the accomplishments and the career that he did and deserved to represent the franchise. Up next, we have a story about Mark Vientos. Okay, so the New York Mets 40-man roster includes a lot of pitchers and only a small number of position players. Several of those position players are actually notable prospects. Among them, there's Mark Vientos. The 22-year-old slugger is beginning his 2022 campaign with the Syracuse Mets. This is where he finished up the 2021 season. Officially won level away from the major leagues. All right. Um, why is this, you ask? With so many limited options to potentially replace an injured infielder, Vientos could be the most logical addition the Mets make to the big league roster. Mark Vientos can be on the Mets early on in 2022 if any of these three spots open up for him. The Mets probably wouldn't promote Vientos to the major leagues to sit around on the bench. Travis Blankenhorn would have made more sense in this scenario, but he was DFA'd before opening day and is no longer on the 40-man roster. After that transaction, it could now happen. Vientos probably wouldn't get promoted if an outfielder goes down if it means he's going to play a backup role. Khalil Lee or Nick Plummer would provide the team with better defensive abilities. The latter could only work if those two are slumping and Vientos is hitting out of his hand and the Mets want him to actually start regularly. It's second base, third base, and the DH spot we should pay attention to the most. Any of these spots, no, any of those three spots, rather, could have a direct effect on when Vientos makes his major league debut. At second base, the Mets should start with Jeff McNeil. If he goes down, they can go with Robinson Cano or even move Eduardo Escobar over there. The second option opens up third base for Vientos. The same is true if it's Escobar that goes down with an injury. Luis Guillaume is a fine player, but the Mets may want to give some of those starts to Vientos instead. The DH is obvious. If that spot suddenly opens up, Vientos would fit in perfectly. Vientos is the favorite among the club's top prospects to make his MLB debut first. But when he's but when he does, the Mets need to clear at bats for him. Sitting around playing sparingly won't do anything for him. Vientos needs to play. He's a single injury away from getting a shot. Hmm. Yeah, that part might be true. That part might be true. So yeah. Um all right, so up next is of course obviously Josh Donaldson. Um okay, so what we have here on northjersey.com is okay, not much had gone right for the Yankees on opening day, straight from the opening bell. After management failed to come to a contract extension with no agreement with Aaron Judge, a starter Garrett Cole gave up three first inning runs to the rival Boston Red Sox, dousing the fresh Friday afternoon vibe at sunny Yankee Stadium. Though they were punched in the mouth early, manager Aaron Boone lauded the contributions across the board in a 6-5 11 inning Yankee victory. After the Yankees climbed back with three home runs, two of the newest Yanks were involved in the winning play. The energy, the atmosphere was electric. Josh Donaldson said after his ground single to center off rookie Cutter Crawford scored Isaiah Kiner-Falefa from second base, setting off a ruckus celebration. Both clubs scored single runs in the 10th with the ghost runner, The ghost runner rule back in effect, beginning extra innings with a runner at second base. In the Yanks, half Gleyber Torres, who was benched for the opener, lifted a 1 out bases loaded sacrifice fly to make it 5-5. Before that, Yankees comeback began with Anthony Rizzo's first inning 2-run homer and John Carlos Stanton's fourth inning solo shot. DJ LeMahieu's 1 out solo homer in the eighth tied it 4-4. Against Garrett Whitlock, reigniting a sellout crowd of 46,097. Cold start. Instantly cold made it seem like October of 2021 all over again. When the Red Sox jumped him in the AL wildcard game and advanced to the Davidson series. No, division series, sorry. Cole yielded a 4-pitch walk to Enrique. Hold on a second. Man. Hold up. It's not. Yeah, Enrique Hernandez. A two-run homer by Rafael Devers, a single off the left field wall by Xander Bogaerts, and an RBI double to J.D. Martinez before settling in. First pitch was scheduled for 1:08 p.m., but did not occur until 1:12 p.m. At about the time that condemned Billy Crystal walked out to make the ceremonial first pitch, a livid-looking Cole was caught on the Yes Network camera in the Yankees dugout. Judge had already led the Yankees onto the field, but Cole waited in the dugout until the first pitch ceremony concluded before heading to the mound. Cole said he felt a little bit of adrenaline today, especially in the first inning. The festivities got a little away from the schedule, said Cole, who called the 4-minute pregame wait an unforeseen challenge. Cole retired 11 of the last 13 batters he faced, yielding three runs over 4 innings, 68 pitches. It's a big win opening day, getting off on the right foot, said Cole, adding that these games are always just a bit elevated against Boston. He kind of embodied what we were today, Boone said. He didn't fold the tent and started executing pitches. Michael King, the Yanks' seventh reliever Friday, pitched the final 2 innings for the win. Hold on 1 second. All right. Okay, it's the type of things kids dream about. King said of getting the win, especially for me growing up a Yankees fan in Red Sox territory in Rhode Island. No issue for Judge. Judge received a huge ovation upon his introduction, and some normalcy replaced the awkward pregame vibe surrounding his contract extension negotiations. Excuse me. Before the club's announcement that talks had ended without an agreement, manager Aaron Boone repeated that he had no concerns about Judge, whatever the outcome. He's the ultimate team player, probably the biggest leader in that room, and an amazing player that wants to be great and wants nothing more than being a part of a championship club. Nothing will change in the way Aaron gets about his business, Boone said, of his slugger entering his free agent walk year. It's not going to be an issue. After going 2 for 5 with a double, Judge said he was optimistic about getting a deal done when he arrived Friday, but he wouldn't say if the sides came close. Gleyber Torres sits on opening day. Gleyber Torres was the odd man out of Boone's infield alignment. Somebody had to sit, and I wouldn't read much into it beyond that, Boone said. But one might detect a preference for the veteran DJ LeMahieu at second base in the opener over Torres, who is coming off two subpar seasons and has a little more to prove. Torres, who did not appear on the field during batting practice, might play the next 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, Boone said, while providing the rest day to Anthony Rizzo, LeMahieu, Isaiah Kenna Falefa, or Josh Donaldson. Boone acknowledged that it was a tough spot for Torres, but he was ready to go in the 10th, fighting back from an 0-2 count, 0-2 count in the shadows before lifting a game-tying sacrifice fly. In a new space, Judge moved into some prime clubhouse real estate this season, taking the locker of his friend Brett Gardner. He said to take care of it, Judge said of Gardner, still a free agent after being the longest tenured Yankee through last season and their last on-field link to the 2009 World Championship. Now Judge resides furthest from the clubhouse entrance, where his nearest locker mates along Millionaires Row are Cole, Stanton, and Aroldis Chapman. Yeah, it's an incredible honor, Judge said, of being asked if he wanted the more high-profile clubhouse space. It means a lot. It also made Judge think of Gardner, who'd been a fixture at opening day over the past decade. That guy was the life of the party. He was a leader, a prankster. He keeps it loose in here, said Judge, who spoke with Gardner on Thursday. We're going to miss him. He want to be out there every day, giving 100%. Man, hold on a second. Did he really? Wow. Wow, I didn't even know he left the Yankees. Wow. Is there even I don't know if there's a reason behind it, but I want to see this. There's gotta be a reason behind this too. There's gotta be a reason behind this shit though. Let's see. Why did Brett Gardner leave the Yankees? Let's see. Why did he leave? I'm not sure, but I don't know what's going on with this thing. Why is it not loading? Okay, let me just see something here. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, Why did Brett Gardner leave the Yankees? Why did he leave? Hmm. Damn. Brett Gardner declines player option, becomes free agent. Oh wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. The Yankees. Okay. Oh, I gotta start. Um. Yeah. Garner declined his $2.3 million player option in November, while the Yankees chose a $1.15 million buyout over a $7.15 million club option. The decisions were expected. Now, 38 Gardner is not the speedster he once was. However, he would still bring some quickness to Yankees roster. The Yankees could also use a defensively sound outfielder, especially since the injury-prone Aaron Hicks is the current starter in center. While Gardner slashed a mere point 22, point 22, 222, 327, 362 with 10 home runs and 39 RBIs in 140 games last season. He picked things up in the second half. He hit 261, 351, 441 with 6 homers and 22 RBI over the final 2 months of the season. Damn. Garner has repeatedly said that he would like to be back with the Yankees in 2022, but the Yankees post Joe Sherman recently reported that the lefty swinger is open to playing for other teams. The lockout has altered normal timelines this offseason, but Gardner's last two contracts with the Yankees were signed in January and mid-February 2021. Uh, Yet there was always an expectation that he would return once New York addressed other needs. Um, this time there is a little more uncertainty after 14 years in the Bronx. Well, whatever team he decides to go to, I mean, they're probably gonna miss him. You know what I'm saying? Um, damn, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Um, Hold on a second. Okay, maybe this would explain more. As the 2021 season ended, Yankees brass assured fans they agreed with their unified sentiment that team was unwatchable as constructed and that lack of watchability fell on the players. That didn't stop the staff of hitting coaches from being gutted, but Aaron Boone returned and major upgrades were promised across the board. Have shakeups occurred since then? Of course, Gary Sanchez and Gio Ursula are in Minnesota now. The Yankees are eyeing the A's pitching staff. Josh Donaldson is a all caps change. But we've always said the clearest indicator of the Yankees' lack of a plan and ability to break away from their decent mediocrity would be the assured return of Brett Gardner in 2022, given an entire season and a whole lockout to come up with something better. Alas, on Wednesday and Thursday, Yankees fans were given a double relevant gut punch. Jock Peterson, eternally a power hitting outfield upgrade on whom the Yankees passed in 2020, 2021, and now in 2022, went to the San Francisco Giants on a cheapy deal. Concurrently, it was revealed that Gardner still has an open locker at Yankees camp. No plan, just waiting. Yankees keeping Brett Gardner's locker open at spring training. Meet the new Yankees, same as the old Yankees, same skeleton. Can't believe we have to keep repeating ourselves, but considering we're in internal stasis mode with Gardner's status, we might as well get used to it. Yes, you could do far worse than Gardy, even at this stage of his career. Yes, he'll put up a month where he looks downright 34 years old. Yes, the Yankees, the supportedly contending Yankees, should have moved on by now, or at least gotten better assurance for Aaron Hicks, who can't be counted on relegating Gardner to the 26-man spot. Nope, just Tim LeCastro and an empty locker. This might not make linear sense, but the empty Gardner spring training locker feels like the physical embodiment of Hal Steinbrenner's Wednesday statement that he financially struggling because he's still paying off stadium loans. I don't get it. Hal's subtext seems to be saying Brett Gardner's fine. What are you, what are all of you people crying about? I'm trying. As much as it felt like the Gary Sanchez era needed to end, and as much as Gio Urshela felt squeezed off the roster before he was dealt, giving Gardner Carte Blanche and an open invitation to return when he was just as mediocre as either of those two feels like the eternal sign that this team will never understand again where it's supposed to fall in the baseball's hierarchy. Like with seemingly every move the Yankees make these days, you could absolutely do worse than Gardner, but you could also do better. Yeah, yeah. So as I said before, remains to be seen. You know what I mean? Remains to be seen. So let's move on to the next subject here. Um, okay. All right, let's move on to the next subject. The next subject is um okay. Okay, we need to talk about we need to talk about Jacob DeGrom. Hold on a sec. Uh-huh. All right. This is according to this is Sports Illustrated. By the way. Um Mets manager Buck Showalter provided an update on the status of pitcher Jacob DeGrom Thursday as the four-time All-Star continues rehabbing his injured right shoulder. Appearing on WFAN's, excuse me, WFAN's Carlton and Roberts radio show, Showalter said the outlook on DeGrom's injury is looking pretty positive so far, before discussing New York's plan for the 33-year-old moving forward. DeGrom was placed on the 10-day injured list last week after being diagnosed with a stress reaction in his right scapula near the end of his spring training. He will be here tomorrow and then go back to Port St. Lucie to rehab. And as soon as he starts throwing, he will rejoin us and do all his throwing with us, he told host Craig Carlton and Evan Roberts. The Mets ace has been sidelined since March 31st when it was reported that he was dealing with shoulder tightness prior to his third spring training start, which was scheduled for the following day. New York announced on April 1st that DeGrom would be shut down for up to 4 weeks before being reevaluated. The two-time Cy Young winner is also dealing with inflammation in his shoulder in addition to the stress reaction. Despite losing DeGrom prior to opening day, the Mets have opened out to a hot 5-2 start. Yes, the Mets are 5-2. That's excellent right there, man. That's very excellent. Let's make some noise for this right here. All right. Yeah, 5-2 start and are currently in first place in the NL East. New York's pitching rotation has also fared well in his absence with fellow All-Star Max Scherzer, who is playing through a hamstring injury, and second-year right-hander Tyler McGill leading the way with a combined 4-zip record, 4 wins and 0 losses. In other words, record and 24 strikeouts. Ooh, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. I'm actually impressed by this. I'm actually impressed by this though. Another thing that I am impressed of is, of course, obviously Francisco Lindor. All right, I wasn't here Friday, so I'm gonna fill you guys in, the folks out there that's listening, in outside of New York. Um, so this took place in Flushing, Queens, at Citifield. So here's what's happening. It was only fitting on a day in which two New York baseball icons were celebrated. The Tom statue with his statue unveiling in front of Citi Field on Jackie Robinson Day, which I didn't even. Oh, Jackie Robinson Day. I'll talk about that in the next episode. Um, that the Mets came away as winners, defeating the Arizona Diamondbacks 10-3 on Friday afternoon. Francisco Lindor's two round trippers from both sides of the plate headlined a 4 home run day. 4 home run day. Wow. Including back-to-back bombs with Sterling Marte in the eighth inning that paced a Mets 6-2 offense that eclipsed the 5-run mark for the fifth time in just 8 games. It was just the fourth time in Lindor's career that he homered from both sides of the plate in the same game. Pete Alonso, who had 5 RBIs on Wednesday against the Philadelphia Phillies, added another two on a pair of sacrifice flies to bring his young season total up to 12. Chris Bassett managed to muscle through another strong start in just his second Mets outing, going 6 innings for a second consecutive appearance while allowing just 1 run on 2 hits with 6 strikeouts. His season ERA in its infancy is a sterling 0.75. Though he had to work to get there. After throwing 54 pitches in the first 3 innings, Bassett set the Diamondbacks um 2-5 down with just 7 in the fourth inning, stretching him out enough to get through 6 on 98 pitches, which was more than enough to qualify for his second win of the season. Alonso's first sacrifice fly put the Mets ahead in the first after McNeil punched an infield single to a vacant shifted left side of the infield before Starling Marte's little pop-up fell between 3 Diamondbacks in short center field. He picked up a second RBI, his 7th in the last 9 innings, after a 5 RBI day against the Phillies Wednesday in the third to double New York's lead. Cannell put the Mets up 3 in the fourth inning with a leadoff opposite field home run over the left field fence. It was his first round tripper in 19 months after he was suspended for the entire 2021 season for PED violations. Lindor followed it up with his second big fly of the year, a 2-run shot with 1 out in the 5th inning. His upper deck bomb into right field seats chased starter Zach Davies from the game and continued a much improved start compared to last season. While the star shortstop's second home run of this season came in just the 8th game of the season, he didn't record his second round tripper last season until May 7th, his 27th game and the 27th game of the 2021 campaign. Bassett's shutout was spoiled in the 6th when Dalton Varsho crushed a 2-0 offering over the Mets bullpen, but the New York hurler managed to get through the frame with ease to end his day comfortably in the lead. The Mets canceled out that run in the 7th when Eduardo Escobar drove home Lindor from second with a 2-out double, but it was Marte and Lindor that provided one last indelible moment on Friday. With 2 outs and 2 men on, Marte cracked a laser of a round tripper that tucked just inside the left field foul pole. Just 3 pitches later, Lindor mashed his second of the game, this time from the right side to send Citifield into a frenzy. Well, okay. That's pretty good, man. I'm actually glad and happy that they're like 5-2 right now. Now today they actually won today's game actually. So now they're 6-2, which is a good start. 6-2, that's a good start right there. No, 6-3 actually, if I'm not mistaken. No. No, they're 6-2. 6-2. They won their 6th game. That's pretty good. Um. Anyway, um, if there's any, I don't think that I think I covered everything. I'll talk about the Jackie Robinson thing and in the next episode. Wait. You know what? Maybe I could talk about that right. Maybe I could. You know what? I'll save that for I will save that for next time. I might not have the time to actually do this, so I'm gonna just wrap it up right here. I'll do that next Sunday. So you know what I'm saying. All right. So Listen, folks, you like what you heard in today's episode today. Um, of course, feel free to show some love by making a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555 $, capital G, lowercase MONEY, capital S, lowercase TACKZ 555 on there. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can on whatever amount you are comfortable doing will be appreciated. All right. Don't worry about having a lot of money. It's not about that. It's not about that. So there you go. Um, so yeah. Um, all right, so let's go to um all right, let's go to podcast free game mechanisms, shall we? And I'm gonna cue the chimes. Yes, this is the segment where I actually inform you folks out there who are interested in making a podcast, like I'm doing right now with 3 shows underneath of my belt. Um, yeah, 3 shows that's underneath of my belt. I actually wanted to do this segment. I introduced this to this sports podcast because actually multiple podcasts actually because I know people out there they're probably going to need some guidance on how to do it, so I'm actually going to guide you and help as much as I can to get you to your journey. So here are some important key equipments that you need to start a podcast. All right. Um, you need headphones. You need headphones. You also need a microphone. Now, it doesn't have to be anything too expensive. It could be a Yeti. It could be a Voxcon A800 um microphone model that I'm using right now. Now, you can find the microphones in Best Buy. You can find it in Target, Amazon, and of course, you can find it at Walmart as well. So, yeah. You also need a laptop or computer. Now, either one could actually work. And also, if you have a unique name for a podcast and even though certain people might not like the name of the show, but there's a story behind it. So you want to come up with something that nobody has ever heard before. So that's actually gonna work. So let's see. Um, for the most part, um, what you need to do is, have something to support your live streams, like StreamYard for your YouTube videos and stuff. Like StreamYard is the software that I use to put um and connect 3 YouTube channels like this one right here. Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, Sports Edition Show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, Review Show, and of course the New York podcast as well. Um, so yeah, you can also use Facebook. You can also use Twitch. You can also use LinkedIn, which I don't really use for your live streams. And of course, the good thing about StreamYard is that you get to send links to people, um, whether it's through email addresses, whether it's through you know, phones, and of course DMs of your Instagram handles of the people you follow. So yeah, there you go right there. Um Also, you can invite up to 6 people in the free version. Now, listen to this. If a person clicks onto the invite link that you send, and if I see you come into the StreamYard studio and I see a video of you, I will add you to the live stream so that way you can actually chime in on the topics, especially with the with with other things that you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Um, also, I always like to say this actually that podcasting is not about pleasing the people that's listening and watching. It's all about what you think of the topics. And of course, another thing that's important that I actually want to mention to the people that are interested in making a podcast, the important things that you need to know when it comes to creating a craft like a podcast project that you're trying to do, it's best to actually make sure you own your stuff. So ownership and creative control are very important, because that way you are independent. You know what I'm saying? Now, it may work for some people, but it may not work for other people. So, yeah, I get it. So, yeah. So yeah, there you have it right there. I also want to recommend Anchor as well, which is what I'm using for 3 of my podcast shows that I'm doing right now, including this one. Um so what you want to do on anchor.fm, the website, is create an account by using either your you could use your email for your podcast on Gmail, of course. Um, and also, what you want to do is, you want to you want to be able to create an RSS feed. Now, you want to activate the RSS feed, and what you want to do is actually find a way to actually, trailers of your podcast is not necessarily mandatory. It's optional, but it's not really mandatory. And yeah, and if you decide to put out a trailer, of course you could put it out there to Spotify and other streaming platforms. And of course, with that being said, um when you get to drop your episodes and stuff like that, you know, listen, don't worry about the analytics of the numbers and stuff. Don't try to let that get to you too much. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm trying my best not to let the numbers get me down and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about you and what makes you happy. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna say right here. Now, um, before I go to the last segment, let me just say something about StreamYard. Now, after you create your account on StreamYard, you could put your podcast email address or your personal email address on there. What you want to do is after you put your email address on there or your podcast email address on there, what you want to do is basically um typing either email address will work, and you can actually make sure you see the word get login code. Once you tap the login code button, you're gonna get an email from the people from StreamYard. So yeah, it's gonna have 6 numbers. You can copy and paste the 6 numbers onto onto the onto the little area where you type in your numbers. Um, it's a rectangular box right there where you could actually type in the numbers on. You could paste the numbers on there, and of course, after that, you should be good to go on setting up your live stream schedules on depending on which days you want to actually do it on a weekly basis for your podcast episode recordings. All right, so yeah, there you have it right there. That's actually going to do it for this segment right here. I am going to go into another segment that I like to call, if I'm not mistaken, hang on a second, stream choices on the go. Make sure you follow this show right here, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast on Instagram, alongside with my other show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show, and of course, on Facebook and Instagram is Off the Meat Rack Chains New York Podcast. I just dropped episode 131. No, excuse me, 137. Last night. I actually was recorded last night. I am going to put up 137 tomorrow on audio streaming platforms. Make sure you catch up on all the episodes on audio streaming platforms and, of course, YouTube. And, of course, make sure you follow me on the gram as well, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York on there. And, of course, 17 Live, which is G Money Stacks, Queens, New York. All right, and of course, if you have any questions for me, you want to chime in on some thoughts on the topics that was discussed, topic ideas, whatever it is, man, you can go to the link in bio where it says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. It's going to take you to the Anchor.fm page where the show is going to be with all the episodes already posted. You're going to see the word message on there. And what you want to do is, when you click on there, you should have a microphone symbol on your phones and stuff, or you could actually do it on your laptop as well to record your voice message on there too. That's Anchor.fm, where you can actually drop your voice message on there. Of course, you want to do it with a microphone and some headphones as well. So there you go right there. And speaking of Anchor, that's where Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast is going to be on. And make sure you subscribe to all the audio streaming platforms as I go down the list on the link in bio right here, which is Anchor, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Addict, Podcast Index, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, and Spotify. The show is also on Radio Public. Don't forget to follow Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, the Sports Edition show on iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. And make sure you follow my other podcast, my other shows that's also on iHeartRadio, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show and Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast on there as well. And last but not least, the YouTube. Make sure you grab the subscribe button. Tap the noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and topics. Of course, stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Make sure you catch up on all the episodes on the YouTube channel page, which is Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. Of course, and also do the same with Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast and, of course, Off the Meat Rack Chains New York Podcast on my YouTube channel page, which is G Money Stacks 555. All right. So you can download the episodes as well. Download your favorite episodes. We need to continue to grow this. Very important. And you can tell a friend to another friend. Word of mouth is important. Share the episodes, share the videos, and of course, make sure you of course tell a friend to another friend, spread the word, and of course, share the podcast along with the link that says Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast with your wives, your husbands, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends, everybody included. All right. Yeah. So, like I said before, make sure you catch up on all the episodes of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast on this YouTube channel page. Do the same with Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast episodes. It's already uploaded and posted. And do the same with Off the Meat Rack Chains New York Podcast on my YouTube channel, which is G Money Stacks 555. I did put out episode 136 and 137 already, so be sure you stay tuned for the audio stream, the audio episode for 137, which will be out tomorrow. All right, make sure you check out those episodes. All right, very important to actually grow this out in order to reach the 1 year anniversary, which is in September, of this podcast right here, this sports podcast that just launched September 19th. This will be reaching the 1 year anniversary, as well as my other show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast review show, which started on June 29th. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate every single one of you for listening and taking the time to actually, being informed and shit like that. So yeah, there you go right there. I also like to say this though at the end of the show is that remember, the grind does not stop because hard work pays off. You can't rush the process. You know what I'm saying? Don't get involved. Also, don't get involved into some crazy scams. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it, man, because that's not really gonna really work. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm G Money Stacks. Appreciate every single one of you out there for tuning in and rocking with me on this Easter weekend. I hope everyone out there, especially the sports fanatics out there, tuning in from all over the world, Canada, USA, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. I appreciate every single one of you for listening. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode. Same time, same man cave, bat channel, 6 o'clock on YouTube and Instagram Live. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss a beat. All right. Peace and one love. And I hope you guys and the folks out there enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend. Happy Easter, everybody. Good night.